Welcome back to gardening on the West Coast again. Edition of the California Gardener, but long since left to California. Okay, what do we have here? Compost. This is stuff that's been breaking down in my compost bin for the last year. As you can see, it's pretty composted. There's a mango seed. There's some stuff that doesn't break down as fast, so mango seeds, some leaves mostly broken down. Sometimes this is the bottom of the pile, so sometimes the stuff compressed at the bottom doesn't really get broken down as well, but that's how you turn your pile over and it helps it break down. So look at this, we're adding to my garden beds, and you can do this every year, but these are brand new beds. I just built them. Pretty proud of them. They look decent. Made out of the wood that we milled from the Douglas firs that we had growing in the front of our house and had to knock them down, so we didn't let them go to waste. Milled them up, then saved the wood, let it dry for a few years, and now I'm making raised beds out of it. So you can see here, I've used the soil that was in the garden to fill most of the beds to the top. And then I've come along and I'm putting like a 2-inch layer of compost, my own compost on top. So I'm dumping out the buckets and then coming along, putting this compost stuff, it's nice stuff, and then I just spread it out on the top. So you see I leave them about 3 inches of room, and I put a top of 2 inches of compost. That's a good starter for the garden beds, because they got that old soil below, and underneath the soil actually stacked up a whole bunch of green waste. So you see I have those big tall kale plants going to seed. I actually put a stack of those on the bottom of each of my beds. So there's a layer of green compost, all that soil, and now I'm putting a layer of decomposed compost on the surface that I'm going to be growing in. So the plants will grow in that decomposed compost, send the roots down through the soil, and I'll have that nitrogen-rich green compost breaking down there here in the next month to continue fueling these beds throughout the season. You see I already spread these ones just like this, and then I spread out the compost. You see, bring it up right close to the edge there, and I have one box left, but I noticed these beds, these are the ones I planted first, so there were some seeds probably in the garden. And look, this is little red Swiss chard, so I'm not gonna pull these guys out. I'm gonna plant, pluck them out of this garden with some dirt and plop them right into the compost in the bed right next to it, this stuff. And there's even a kale plant right there. Look at that. So that one I can hop over too. And there's a bunch of these little red Swiss chards here growing already. So I might as well transplant them and move them into the next bed before I pile up the compost in this one. Look at all these little red Swiss chards growing here. Such pretty little plants. And they turn into a delicious meal later on. Okay, so if you're doing the raised bed thing, I highly suggest it. I was just growing in this big open space here, and everyone was saying, why are you growing in railway ties? Well, they were here before I was here, so and I didn't have time to get stuff built up. So now that I have time, and last year was like an epic failure gardening, I decided to build these beds. Gets it up higher off the ground, so it's easier to pick the weeds, and I'm going to put wood chips in between all of these beds so it keeps the weeds down. Don't have to weed the walkways. And then it's nice organized growing. You also get a really good depth of soil, because this is really rocky soil here. It's basically a gravel pit. I live on a gravel pit. See that back there? It's a beautiful lake, but the reason it's there is because we live on a gravel pit. It's seriously gravel. You see, when I dig into the ground here, I get rocks like this. It's just solid rocks. You'll dig a pail full of rocks. So there wasn't much dirt here in this area. So they only had about, 4 to 6 inches of topsoil on top of the rocks. So Now I know why it wasn't growing as well. So, but look at this. So now I have anywhere from 15 to 20 inches of good soil, right? That those plants will have to send out good roots, get good root development, nice high drainage, good deep soil, and I can add amendments to the surface, easy to weed, and yeah, should be beautiful. Can't wait to grow in this. So if you have not yet started gardening and you want to get started, I would suggest building one small bed like that one right there and give it a go. It doesn't have to be any huge wood like this, you know. You won't find this in the store. It was custom milled. But you can use just 2x6s, stack up a couple 2x6s, or get a 2x12 and a couple 2x12s, 10-footers. You can make a box and then you're set to grow. Fill it with dirt, plant some seeds, or get some little seedlings from the store, put them in. Keep it nice and moist and let them grow, right? It's easy to grow. Take care of your soil. See you guys later. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy growing this season with us, right? 1, 2, guess what? New one. 3. See you later.